fitted tire, everyone on the softs. Let's see if the stream's up and running on the channel, I'm sure it would be. Have a look. There it is there. So fantastic, the stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is technically round 16, but in actuality it's round 17 of the PS4 America Series, the Tier 1 America Series here on Race Spec Esports. It's time for the Mexico City Grand Prix here at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, a 4.3 kilometer or 3.67 mile 17 turn racetrack in Mexico City. It's not particularly one of my favorites as a racetrack. It's, to me, I find it somewhat underwhelming for the most part, particularly because of that third sector. I believe, like I mentioned it in a Pacific Series stream, that I feel that the third sector's stadium section is such a missed opportunity. For the most part, the circuit tests out the sort of basic fundamentals of every racing driver. The first sector, it's all about precision and accuracy in regards to braking and accelerating, as you got some of the deepest braking zones and a very important traction zone coming out of turn 3. Sector 2 tests out your precision and accuracy in steering input, in trying to find your rhythm, trying to find the flow of the racetrack through the second sector, as it's very, very quick, incredibly technical, so easy to get warnings and to make mistakes through there. And when you come up to the third sector to round out the lap, when you're coming into that stadium section, all it is it's just this massive bottleneck where absolutely nothing takes place. For me, it's such a missed opportunity. That could have been a really entertaining part of the racetrack, probably the highlight of the racetrack. But it doesn't really provide anything in terms of racing, and I just find it a massively missed opportunity. But some of the other key features about the racetrack, it's a racetrack that has the highest altitude of any circuit on the calendar. So if this game simulated the sort of altitude correctly, we'll probably see drivers with pretty much 10-10 wings, so they could find as much downforce as they possibly simulate that. So drivers, I believe, will be running somewhere around 3-6 wings, probably 4-6 wings, something like that. That way you can maximize the top speed down the pit straight and the straight afterwards at turn 3, and also have a bit of aerodynamic grip through the second sector, so you're not understeering everywhere. But in regards to the championship, as we missed out on the round in the United States due to PSN just screwing us over more or less, the championship standings have not changed since the round in Japan. Just see if I can't find them. Let's have a look. America Series Tier 1, there it is. Need that to load up. Fantastic. So, it's still a championship, with BRT Giulio leading the standings on 229 points, with being sandwiched at his home racetrack. We might be able to see a solid performance from him. He's in second place on 216. He is 13 points behind our current championship leader. BRT Fast is in third on 214 points, just 15 points behind the championship leader. COS Nicholas in fourth on 204, 25 points behind. And BRT Matthias, his teammate, in P5, what this all plays out. And of course, in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull very much leading the way on 398 points. Mercedes is in second on 302. They're a fair ways behind. So it's looking like Red Bull will clinch the the Constructors' Championship. Well, right now, it's Jamil F1, currently on pole position with a 1 minute 13.5. It appears that everyone is qualifying on the soft compound tyre, no one wanting to go onto the mediums and run on those. Ideally, you'd like to have those two sets of medium tyres, the one that you get from qualifying and the one you have set for the race. You want both of them fresh, as some drivers might want to do a soft medium strategy, as the soft tyre does burn up quite a bit around here. But BRT Giulio, our current championship leader, is going to begin his first flying lap here at Mexico. He's coming down the pit straight. What's that speedo climb? This racetrack has some of the highest average speed of any racetrack on the calendar, entering at almost 207 miles an hour. Hard on the brakes for turn 1 into turn 2. Then turn 3, fourth gear on the exit. A bit of a revving glitch there. Heading towards turn 4, hard on the brakes again. Down into second gear, short shifting. Down to first gear, short shifting to third gear on the exit of turn 5. Into turn 6. Using second gear at the apex and short shifting to third. And through the high speed S's in the second sector. See when he lifts off the throttle just briefly at turn 9 through turns 10 and 11 now. Then heading towards turn 12. Oh, he invalidated his time through the S's. I didn't notice that. But he did invalidate. So he might be going back into the pits, get on a new set of tyres and have another crack. Nicholas, has he invalidated? Not as of yet, but he's 200ths down on his current personal best. He needs to improve by a bit over a tenth of a second. See what he can do around the final corner, turn 17. And he does improve, but not enough to take pole position away from Jamil. BT Fast on an out lap, KD on an in lap after invalidating on his flyer. Captain Schmeg on a flying lap, heading towards the second sector. He's currently up on his first sector split. Interesting to see that his teammate isn't here for this one. Hildebeest, he's been a very consistent driver over the course of the championship. Captain Schmeg all by himself in that Haas garage. See what he can do through the high speed S's. Very committed on the throttle. Took that very, very well. And look at that, he's up by 2/10. That's a fine improvement. Now into the stadium section, hard on the brakes. First gear, second gear, third gear. Fourth gear back down to third. Takes the final 2 corners very nicely. Up and towards the line. And he improves by 0.3 of a second and jumps to P6 with a 1 minute 14.472. Ooh. That's Giacano off the racetrack going backwards. He needs to flick spin it, and there we go. Driving too far backwards, he's been disqualified from qualifying. He will be starting from the back of the pack, driving too far down the circuit backwards. I don't know why he did that for. I mean, he could have quite easily flick spin it from where he was initially. He didn't need to move further back up the racetrack, but dear oh dear. Seffi on a out lap, a second out lap, I'm guessing. He's not using any ERS as of yet. BRT Fast now jumping to the top of the table. 1 minute 13.217. He obliterates Jamil's time. Let's see what Giulio can do. Through turn 1. Into turn 2, he has a bit of traffic in front. One of the McLaren's getting out of the way. The Renault of Fas, I believe, who just completed a flying lap, getting out of the way of his fellow Brazilian. Into turn 5, now turn 6. Nice and gentle on the throttle. Now through the high-speed S's. 5th gear. 6th gear. Full throttle at the moment. Very much committed. Very good line as well. See what his second sector split says, a 54.8. Now through the 3rd sector, 2nd gear, 1st gear at the apex. Short shifts to 3rd straight away, no mucking around with the gears. And around the final corner, as Sefi retires from the session, he does a 1 minute 13.759. Jumps to 4th place overall. Still a bit of work to do if he wants to try and grab pole position. KD has invalidated. Lucid heading into the pit lane. So it'll be COS Nicholas who sets the next flying lap. He's going to begin his charge with 5 minutes left in the session. He'll have enough time to get back into the pit lane and do one more flying lap. Let's see what he can do in the 1st sector. 209 miles an hour. Very, very fast heading towards turn 1. Through turn 2. Into turn 3. You have to be so precise through there. You cannot afford to cut the corner too much. But you can't just... well, you can't just not cut the corner. You have to cut absolutely everything through there. And look at that! He's up by 0.4 of a second in the 1st sector. That is massive! Absolutely massive through the 1st sector, considering there are only 3 corners in that entire sector. What can he do here in sector 2? Oh, he invalidates! Oh no! Oh, he'd be furious with himself with such a dramatic improvement in the 1st sector. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, will he do a second flying lap? Or will he just peel into the pit lane and wait for the final few minutes in the session? I reckon he'll wait. Yeah, there he goes into the pit lane. KD, low on fuel, potentially on a flying lap. He's up by 0.2 of a second in the 2nd sector. Heading into the stadium now. 2nd gear. 3rd gear, 4th gear. Back down to 2nd gear for turn 16. Around the final corner, turn 17. Up and towards the line. There's a 1 minute 14.1. Stays in P6. Needs to try and crack into the 13s if he wants to crack at the top 5. But now at the pointy end of qualifying, we'll now see drivers on their final out laps, preparing themselves for their final flying laps in this session. I believe the McLaren of Lucid will be the first car to set a flying lap, then Yoda Speak. Then I believe it is Jamil F1. He's currently 2nd. One of the Ferraris has come out. That has to be White Claw. He's the only Ferrari here. So Lucid on a clear track. What can the McLaren do? He's done a 17.9. I must say the field is incredibly spread out at the moment. I've done 2 races here at Mexico. One as a driver, one as a commentator. And both times the fields were incredibly close in terms of time. This is the biggest I've seen by quite some margin. He's heading towards turn 1. Into 4th gear, 3rd gear for turn 2. Down to 2nd gear actually for turn 2. Very careful through there. See what his 1st sector split says. And we'll have a look at Yoda Speak, see what he is up to. He's up by half a second. That's a very fine improvement. What about Yoda? He's coming through turn 3, heading towards the end of the 1st sector. Got drivers on out laps behind him, and he's up by 0.03 of a second. The next driver is Jamil F1, if I remember, and it is. He opens DRS, heading towards the 1st sector split, and he's up by 0.06 of a second, apparently purple, to the 1st sector. Through the 2nd sector now. There's a stream and audio out of sync, don't worry. I'll probably have to restart the stream if that's the case. I'll fix that up in just a moment. I'll make sure I'll try and capture as much qualifying as I can. Is it just the audio that's well in front of the stream? Is that the case? People still watching? Yeah, it does this on the occasion. I don't necessarily know why. I'll probably just restart the stream. But I'll watch the end of qualifying so I can tell you who's on pole position at the very least. Then I'll probably end the stream, restart it. It did a similar thing. I think it was back at Zandvoort it did a similar thing. Where for some reason the stream was a good about 30 seconds behind the audio. So I'll fix that up. But still, Fast is on pole position for now. He's on a flying lap, but he's invalidated, so he will not be improving. The session counter has gone to 0. Fast is still on pole. Jamil has bailed out of a lap. Nicholas has jumped up to pole position with a 1 minute 13.195. So he's looking like he's going to take pole. Bean Sandwich at his home race jumps up to 3rd place with a 1 minute 13.5. And I believe that just might be it. The qualifying, Captain Schmeg is on a lap. White Claw has invalidated, so it's only Captain Schmeg. Oh, and he's had a massive crash at the end of the S's. His qualifying is done, so that's more or less qualifying done and dusted. And it's Nicholas on pole, Fast in 2nd, and Bean Sandwich the top 3. So I'm just going to cut off the stream here, restart, and hopefully the audio will be audio in the stream should be nice and in sync. I'll be back in just a moment.